Part 3. The Lost Years of Jesus. What the Ethiopian Bible reveals that the West won't talk about. They told you Jesus was a carpenter, but what if he was also a world traveller? A healer in Egypt? A wisdom seeker in India? Ethiopia has something to say about that. This is where it starts getting real controversial. Because the Ethiopian Bible, unlike the Western versions, contains accounts that fill in the mysterious 18-year gap of Jesus' life that are completely missing in most of the Bibles we grew up reading. Let's rewind to something you've probably noticed but never questioned. In the Gospels, we hear about Jesus as a baby. Then again at age 12, he was teaching in the temple. And then, boom, he's suddenly 30 years old and starting his ministry. So where did he go? What happened during those lost years? Western Bibles are completely silent on this, but the Ethiopian Bible and other early Christian texts include rich stories and clues about those missing years. According to ancient Ethiopian texts and oral traditions, Jesus traveled to Egypt and studied with mystics and healers. He journeyed to India, where he encountered Brahmin priests and sages. He may have studied spiritual disciplines, performed miracles, and even preached, all long before the official start of his ministry. These stories aren't just Ethiopian folklore. Variants of these traditions also appear in the Gospel of the Infancy, which is actually found in Ethiopia, and the Essene Gospel of Peace. There are even ancient Indian texts that reference a holy man named Isa. And Islamic records speak of a youthful Jesus with deep wisdom. But here's the kicker. Most of these texts were banned or labelled apocryphal. That's just a fancy word for "we don't want you to read this." In the Ethiopian canon, these so-called lost years of Jesus show him training spiritually and physically, getting ready for his mission. They reveal his divine nature developing gradually, not just appearing all at once, and they really emphasize compassion, wisdom, humility, and healing. This version of Jesus is, deeply human yet incredibly divine. He grows, he learns, he travels, he serves. That's honestly a far richer story than what most of us were taught. Here's where it gets spicy. The Council of Nicaea, way back in 325 AD, and backed by the Roman Emperor Constantine, decided which books were in and which were out of the official Bible. And what didn't make the cut? The Book of Enoch. Too strange, too supernatural. The infancy Gospels, they painted Jesus as, too mystical. And then there were the Gnostic texts, which empowered people to seek divine truth within themselves. Anything that made Jesus look less controlled by church doctrine was left out. They wanted a simple Jesus, a manageable Jesus, one who fit their political agenda. But Ethiopia? Ethiopia never joined this filtering system. They kept the full scrolls, the full stories. And that's why the Ethiopian Bible was feared. Because honestly, if the public knew that Jesus may have traveled the world, he may have learned from Africans, Indians, Egyptians, that there were other books of sacred wisdom, and that Christianity may have diverse roots beyond Rome, it would shatter the monopoly of the Western Church's narrative. So, what did they do? They ignored it, suppressed it, called it heretical. In some cases, banned it outright. But the scrolls survived. In the highlands of Ethiopia, guarded by priests, written in Ge'ez, hidden in stone churches carved into mountains. The truth they didn't want you to know? The missing years of Jesus aren't missing because they don't exist. They're missing because certain people didn't want you to know how deep and wide his wisdom truly went. And Ethiopia preserved it all. In Part 4, we'll uncover one of the most explosive historical meetings ever recorded when the Queen of Sheba met King Solomon. What happened between them shook two continents and created a spiritual dynasty that still echoes in Ethiopia to this day. And yes, it ties directly to how Ethiopia became one of the oldest Christian nations on earth, long before Europe discovered the Bible. Stay locked in. This journey's just heating up.